correctly with the correct amount.
And now for our feature presentation.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's not Miguel Leon, it's his clone speaking from the grave. It is Michael Burhan in a rather Halloweeny edition of the Untitled movie show, and I'm joined today by the sexiest man because he's loved by biscuits everywhere. He is Mr. Law Post 1975, Dave Wade.
Hello, people. Hello. Does this make it this kind of Halloween special? Even though we're not even talking about horror.
Yes, it does actually.
It's our non-horror Halloween special, people. Put up a pew.
Yeah, it's...
Don't just stumble for words. Fucking hell.
I am. It's because I'm typing at the same time because I've just realised we've named this Slamcast again. Silly me. It is what it is. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about...
Miguel goes on holiday to his parents' house. By the way, I did say this last week, people. Miguel goes on holiday to his parents' house for Halloween. It sounded like a stalker movie, like a horror movie, but goes on holiday for 1 week and professionalism goes out the fucking window.
Exactly.
Hey!
And that's what we do here at the Untitled Movie Show. We are not fucking professional, because if we were, we would basically be all the other shows. But we are talking today about DC and Marvel comic book movies. So instead of basically talking about movie news, because people don't really want to know about it, we're going to be talking Marvel and DC. And the first thing we're going to talk about is we finally have a Doctor Strange, but apparently it's not set in stone yet. Now, the man who's been rumoured to be playing Doctor Strange is Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch, the man known as Sherlock and other things. And he'll basically be playing the title character of Doctor Strange in Marvel's upcoming movie. And the day after this was announced, of course, they announced that he's going to be on the that the movie's basically going to happen, and they threw out a slew of movies. It was ridiculous the amount of movies that they've thrown out there. So we know the names of certain Marvel movies. They kind of teased us a little bit when they had their announcements that the Captain America movie would be called The Serpent something. But at the end they kind of bait and switch. It's like, yeah, it's been called Civil War. Huh? You didn't know that, did you? We fooled you. It's like, no, you really didn't fool us. We knew it was going to be Civil War. The moment you cast Downey in that, come on. And also, they've notably done two historical things here. They've got one movie that's got a black lead in it, which is the first movie, like, basically ever in the Marvel Universe to actually have a black lead, in a sense, and that's Black Panther. And another movie that they're bringing out as well is Ms. Marvel.
Ooh,
they're calling
that's
it
quite
Captain
surprising.
Marvel. Yeah, she's going to be in her own movie as well. So they haven't cast Ms. Marvel as of yet, but it's a big thing here. It's a really big thing for comic book moviegoers and stuff. And what do you think about that, Dave? What do we think about
I'm quite surprised about... I'm loving this at the moment. It's funny, we touched upon it last week, but Marvel has got it right with the way they've expanded their sort of, they were patient, they built it up, they've expanded this, franchise, and it works. And so now they're in this very fortunate, position where they can literally pick and choose. Don't make Ant-Man Marvel, I stand by it, sorry. But Miss Marvel, that's an interesting one, because depending upon how they go, and you don't know that they won't, because as you know, I think the last Captain America movie is probably my favourite superhero movie right now, of the Marvel stuff. Possibly Avengers 2, the trailer may be better, just based on the fact that it looks so good and it's got Hulkbuster in it.
Yeah.
And I'm super psyched because I'm loving the Captain. I love the first one, even though it's cheesy. But yeah, it's I'm really liking the fact. But if they go with Miss Marvel, the only reason I'm saying I'm quite surprised with that is, dependent upon when you delved in and read Miss Marvel, some of her storylines got really, really dark.
Yeah,
which
there was
might
one time she was ended up merging with Rogue, wasn't she? At one point, they've
yeah,
done a lot. From the point.
And she joined the Fantastic Four for a bit, but she hated men because, rightly so, because she was basically sexually assaulted. So I'm wondering where they'll go with her, because she does have a very dark element, Plus, also, she became Miss Thing for a bit in Fantastic Four, where current Thing and her went into space and got more cosmic rays, and that's when the Thing went all triangular. and then she turned into a female version of the Thing.
How does she not have cancer? I'm just saying, she's been hit with loads of
How
different
did none
rays.
of them not have cancer? I mean, seriously, unless the cosmic rays are so good, it's like kind of having. It's not a joke, people. I'll back out of it now, but it's kind of like having extreme chemo.
Well, it's like Captain America's like the spokesperson for steroids. You know, he's had some miracle drug that made him gain super strength and get really muscular from being puny. Come on, people. Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I love Captain America, but right, he may have had, like the bloke saying, like, you've got a heart, that's the most important thing, although the grenade sequence in the first movie is fantastic. But just the fact that when he's in that little tube and they're, like, injecting him with, like, fucking hundreds of needles and frying him with 1/4 of New York City's grid, and he's like, no, leave it on! Shut up! You're a whiny little, scrawny little cow, there's no way you've suddenly just manned up. This is before the serum, Steve, and now you're just like, I could do this! Bollocks! And then he comes out of it, and he's all of a sudden fucking Captain, I'm going to use the shield, a car door as a shield. I shouldn't complain, because I love that movie, but that's the thing with Marvel movies, We love them, we adore them, but the problem with any superhero movie, as well written as it is, they're there to be poked fun at and have holes poked in them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, very, very true. And guys, I want to say a great big thank you to those who are listening at the moment, including Mr. Retro Anlin, who's listening to the show at the moment. We've got our folks at Anime Comic Movies and Games, ACMG, led by Daxia Johnson there, who's basically been on the show a couple of times. And we also
He's
have
the best dressed man in North America.
He is. And we have Sarah Mortimer as well, basically on listening in as well. So we've got a very nice crowd of people. And I want to say a great thank you to everybody out there for listening into IGG's 100th episode spectacular. Without you, IGG would not be eclipsing its totals, and we're still not at the end of the month. It's amazing how well we've done. Literally how well this network has done. We've gone from strength to strength. 17,000 views the network has actually grossed so far. IGG itself is on the moneymaker in terms of how many views it's grossing as a whole. And also, the episode with the Happy Console Game of Johnny Millennium and Rock Band. It was such a great episode. One, because we all got very nostalgic with one another. Two, there was a lot of talk about bum rape.
Yeah, there was.
You know what the funny thing was? That wasn't started by me. There you go, peeps.
I was quite surprised at that, actually, Bern. That someone took your lead there.
And it was a fun show, and I have to welcome everybody and congratulate everybody who's been on that show as well. So we will talk a little bit more about the IGG schedule later on, of course, guys. And let's continue with our combo movies. Now, I'm going to bring up the schedule.
Quickly, Mr. Byrne, I asked you for the link so I could send it to Patty, and you send me the link for last week's Slamcast.
No, that is it. Basically, I said we didn't change the name. That's my fault. Sorry. Sorry, peeps. It is my fault. The live stream says Soundcast on it. But yeah, it's basically we're going to be talking a little bit more about the movies, what's going on in terms of the Marvel movies, and we're also going to be talking about DC schedule because a lot of it has been there's a lot going on. Now we'll go for Marvel first and talk about the movies that are coming up from Marvel. Now, we do have the Marvel kind of DC collaboration going on because I've got this nice little poster in front of me here that talks about the Marvel movies, including 2014. We've only got one final Marvel movie from any studio because you have Fox, who currently hold the rights to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men universe. And you also have basically the Sony Spider universe that they're trying to do. Apparently, there's still rumors going on. Kevin Feige, or they call him Feige or Fugu, whatever dish they want to call him. He did talk a little bit about this, but he didn't reiterate any further as to what was going on in terms of like the Spider-Verse, because what he's kind of done is he's left it up to our imaginations. SpongeBob quote reference there for you people, to see what's going on. Now, the big one is basically we have in 2015 some big movies going on. Now, I'm just trying to bring this thing up as I'm talking to everybody because for some reason my browser crashed, which doesn't help anybody. But it should be working in a second, and then we'll get it working and talking about this. Now, the big thing is that there's two big coups that's come from this. One, Feig explained that the Avengers after Age of Ultron aren't going to be the same. So, going into Captain America Civil War...
are they going to split them, like in the comics? We're going to have East Coast, West Coast?
A faction, so there is going to be a bit of a Civil War thing going on. Because after the Age of Ultron thing, I think Stark's going to have more control going into this. Which is kind of scary, if you ask me.
Civil War is probably the last great thing Marvel did, actually, in comic book form.
Now, the new show they've got going on, which is a Disney movie, but it's a Marvel Disney movie, is called Big Hero 6. November 7th, so that's coming up in, the upcoming month. Then in 2015, May 1st, we have the Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, there's a lot of spoilers that's been going on about this movie. We had the trailer that was being leaked. I was one of the first people to get a hold of this lovely trailer, and I have to thank Anime, Comic, Movies and Games again for that trailer, because they were the ones who had it previously.
Pretty sure you've seen it, people, but if you haven't and you want to wet your pants with absolute fucking jizz of joy simply because childhood dream come true. Sorry, can I do it? It's saying spoilers, too strong a descriptive term for a trailer. Fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway. Spoilers! Oh my god, Hulkbuster. That's all I'm saying. Hulkbuster, Hulkbuster, I am happy.
There's an Iron Man sort of Hulk thing going on. You know, and I don't know. Oh, it won't allow me to post the link in the live chat. Sorry, guys. What I can do, I'll read off this little chart here, and I'll post a linky poo to Dave. If you want a copy of it, I will post it on the Retro Unlim Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Unlim Radio. So you can read through it to us now. We've got Avengers Age of Ultron coming May 1st, 2015. A lot of things that's been talked about here, a lot of undecisive things. One of them is being the fact that Tony Stark is going to be... They've kind of rewritten it. So instead of Hank Pym being Ultron's father, it's... And Rich Ronham says he's jizzing of joy here. It's actually going to be basically Tony Stark that makes this. Now, seeing the way that Ultron destroyed these robots, Stark's technical robots here, it looks like he was given birth because he was an AI that kind of... It looks like he's kind of has the same premise. He's a tactical AI being used to kind of save the world, but is turning into this machine. And eventually it becomes, you know, kind of twisted after gaining sentience, and eventually like breaks apart Stark's armor, you know, and pieces himself together.
Looks, that's what I liked about it, though, the trailer. I mean, obviously we're just here saying right now, but I love the fact that it's like he claws himself to life by basically just, you know, scavenging, ripping off parts of Iron Man's fucking suits and shit. Like, it just looks fucking wonderful. By the way, do you feel old when you have to explain to people who the bloke is who's giving him voice?
Yes.
I felt pretty old when people were like, who's doing his voice?
I said this to Rob, man. I was like, James Spader, the voice of Ultron's fucking amazing. And Rob was going to me, James who? You mean David Spade? I was like, no. James
everyone
Spader.
said that. I told someone at work about the trailer, and the first thing they said was, well, David Spade. I went, no, it's... never mind.
Yeah, it was one of those...
All right, name a movie of his, though. We talked about it last week. When someone said to me, name a movie of his, I think the only one I could come up with, and I'm not saying it's a good movie or I even like it, was, I don't know, Sex, Lies and Videotape?
He was also in The Office, the American version of The Office. He was in it for half a season, in the final season of it. On the season before the final. He's one of those guys where in the 90s he made a lot of his bread and butter. Kind of the 80s, the 90s. He wasn't seen as a lead character. He mostly played supporting roles. I think now, though, he's found a niche. He loves to play the villain. He's currently playing a villain in a TV show that's currently going on at the moment. And as Ultron, he is extremely fucking creepy. I mean, extremely creepy. And I love the fact
think like, fairy tale voices in the graveyard creepy. That's how I imagine, like, he picked his why he was going to voice Ultron like that. You know that 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, little kids talking
yeah,
thing.
they kind of put a twisted version of Disney's Pinocchio, no strings. It's like, the way they do it, they got this little kid to sing it, but they've just lowered the tempo. It's like, they've got no strings to hold me down. And it's the way that they've done it, because usually it's a very upbeat song, and they've kind of turned it on its head. And the way they did that really sent chills down my spine. Being someone like, I'm a child of like the 80s and 90s, and watching something like that I usually, that I kind of, my brain goes to the whole Pinocchio and, oh, that little boy, and the tragedy of this.
I'm a real boy!
Yeah, I'm a real boy now. And turning it into that, kind of, it sounds like child molesting creepy. That's the way I'd put it. It's like where the body's buried. But it works. It works really well.
Do you know the one thing that Pinocchio could say, if I could just make a really bad joke? I'm stepping into your territory now, which is, the one thing he could say that was truthful, honest, and not actually a lie is, when he wants to hit on the ladies, he can just go, check it out, ladies. I'm all wood. Sorry.
But I'm sure.
I do apologise. It won't happen again.
I lied. No. Why don't you tell us a lie, you were? But Papa, I told you I lied. Yes, but your nose would grow if you're lying. If you want to tell me the truth, it's okay, lad.
Do you know what's funny though? That sequence in that the original Disney Pinocchio movie. There's certain sequences from Disney movies that scared the shit out of me as a kid. The Dumbo, elephants on parade sequence one gave me nightmares for fucking weeks. But the other one is, and if you stop to analyse it, it's horrific, which is the bit in Pinocchio when they fucking ply them with booze and shit, and they all turn into donkeys.
Prying kids with booze, you never see that these days.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I know.
Let's move on from Age of Ultron as well. Actually, no, we'll talk a few little more points to it. It appears that Black Widow and David and Eric, I keep going freaking the other banners. And Bruce Banner, there you go, are dating. I was going to go Eric, then I went David, and I'm like, fuck. Again, guys, I've been watching like the fucking Hulk TV series. I also read an article on why Edward Norton and kind of Disney, Marvel didn't come to terms, and it seems
because he's a prick.
What, Norton? No, it's not that at all. They kind of made it out that he was difficult to work with, but he was like, I wanted to push this thing and be as creative with it as possible, and I understand that from his point of view. He wanted to do it justice. He wanted it to make it as much as a Bill Bixby version as possible, but no one liked it.
Oh, that's cool. That was it. I mean, I like that whole movie, but I
think it was the best one in terms of the movies that they did. I still think he's better than Mark Ruffalo. I think Ruffalo's
yeah.
He's too much of the charming Banner, and Banner's never charming.
Banner to me is, I am a recluse for a reason, people.
Yeah.
Whereas, the other bloke was kind of like, well, I am a recluse, but also, look, you probably want to have dinner with me.
But hey, do you want to go out on a date? So yeah, it kind of, it has that kind of thing going on, and it looks like the Hulk and Black Widow are dating in this one, or they have some sort of relationship going on.
I really hope she doesn't piss him off during coitus, or that could be painful.
Don't make me horny. You wouldn't like me when I'm horny. So yeah, you got that going on. There's another thing where it seems that Tony Stark and the Hulk are no longer BFFs. Which, again, it's another thing that I'm kind of... I don't know if I'm for or against here. I think, having these two kind of split up and go their own separate ways is fine, but having them come to blows is...
I'm for it. Do you want to know why? Mainly based on Civil War, based on... Well, no, not just that though, but based on I've read Iron Man. I like Iron Man. Don't get me wrong. Iron Man in the '70s was pioneering for a comic when it did the whole him being an alcoholic and stuff like that. But I've always been, you ain't a fucking superhero. That's just a suit. So I'm in Hulk's camp, which is tear him a new one, Hulk, because he's just a bloke with lots of money. He ain't got no real talent. I know he's incredibly smart.
I prefer Thunder in Paradise. No one prefers Thunder in Paradise. Stop lying. But yeah, going on from that, and also there's a thing here. Tony Stark does not come off well in this movie. You can
Whoa!
tell.
Yeah, there's that scene, isn't there, where Thor throttles him?
Yeah. He looks like he's going to become the bad guy. Which
is,
I don't
but
see
then
an issue with.
that kind of makes sense, though. They're leaning towards Civil War, though, doesn't it?
Well, this is the thing, and this is what we're going to come to in a little bit, because we're going to talk about this once we reach that period, because there's a lot to talk about. Plus, a certain character who needs to be in the Civil War movie. Now, we'll talk about that in a minute. So, going on from the Age of Ultron, we
Howard the Duck.
What's up?
Howard the Duck.
No. We'll talk about it in a minute. Going off from the Avengers Age of Ultron, we then go to July 17th, which is Ant-Man. Now, I'm a bit two ways about this. One, Edgar Wright is no longer involved. I'm not a fan of that. Because I think he's a great director. I understand him and Marvel couldn't come into creative... They had creative differences going on. Because originally he was supposed to write and direct this along with Joe Cornish, who wrote the script originally. They completed 3 drafts of script, shot test footage for the film as well. Pre-production began in October 2013, but was then put on hold so Wright could complete The World's End, basically. And then they started casting, and they had...
Which I still haven't seen. Is it any good?
Yeah, it's I believe it's on the extended edition of the Avengers DVD.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now, they always wanted Paul Rudd to play Ant-Man, but they never said which one he was going to play. It's now been confirmed that he's playing Scott Lang. You know. Now,
do you want to give people? I know we touched upon it last week, but do you want to give people out there in Tinterwebs land who may not be overly familiar with Ant-Man why there is,
okay,
it's interesting that there are 2 versions of Ant-Man.
There's 2 different Ant-Men. One is Scott Lang, who was a criminal who became Ant-Man after basically stealing Hank Pym's suit. He stole Hank Pym's suit, went on, stealing money in order to get his daughter away from the mob. There was a reason behind it, in a sense. Now,
he wasn't a career criminal, people. He was is it right? It's wrong for me. It's the wrong descriptive term, but he was a moralistic criminal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, he was a criminal in the sense that he was forced into it. I'm sorry, anyone who'd be like, I will go to the police. No, your daughter's going to get killed, so you have to look at the idiom here in regards to this, like the whole perspective of why he's doing this, what's going on. Hey, John Smith's online. Hey, John Smith, we are talking about the comic book movies. We're doing the Untitled movie show today, and we are talking about comic book movies for you. So we're continuing on that. So we are talking Marvel. I can't type. This is the great thing about having a 3-man crew. We have one person typing and everybody else discussing here. Now, basically, yeah. So he's playing Scott Lang. Now, I don't like the idea. I've said the idea of this is ridiculous. I don't think it should be done this way, but they're going this route. Ant-Man is being played, the original Ant-Man, who's Hank Pym, is being played by a rather older Michael Douglas. I don't know what to say about this. I think this is a bad move because they're making Hank Pym out to be an older gentleman. Hank Pym is not an older gentleman. Hank Pym is basically one of the smartest men in the world. He always analyzes, he tries to...
There's a Bruce Wayne or Batman characteristic to his nature, isn't there?
Of course. And this is where I see the big problem here. I don't like that. I can understand Marvel no, it'll be fine. We can go that route. And one of the reasons why Edgar Wright kind of left the project as well was because of the fact that they rewrote his script. No, people.
Ooh, that little chestnut.
Yeah, it's not the nicest thing to do. He decided, look, if you're going to do this, if you're going to rewrite my script by people I don't consider good writing, I'm leaving the project. So he left the project, and they instead got a new director on, Peyton Reed. I'm trying to think what Peyton Reed directed. He was born in Raleigh, North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. He directed Yes Men, starring Jim Carrey. A good movie. And that was it. Okay. No, there's other films. Bring It On. Down with Love.
Oh dear, this is not boding well, is it?
The breakup.
Oh my god! So on fire, this man.
Apparently, he did Back to the Future, the television series. Yeah,
The television series?
yeah.
We're not talking the
animated
cartoon?
series. Yeah,
Oh, right.
he directed an episode on that. The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes remake. The Love Bug.
Oh,
The
God.
Weird Al Yankovic Show. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that, but I'm sold already.
The Mr. Show with Bob and Dave, Upright Citizen Brigade, Kashmir Mafia, and Goodwin Games. It doesn't look like this guy's done much.
Can I just say, why did they pick him?
I really don't know. Maybe it was
Because,
someone
you
that
know-
because Marvel have a tendency to pick talent that nobody's kind of that either have been written out of Hollywood in a sense, or that no one else has heard of. Look
Yeah,
at
but this is a make or break movie in the sense that as strong as the Marvel bandwagon is right now, it's Ant-Man won't necessarily appeal to everyone, which is my problem, that why I'm on the fence. So you would think, understandably, what happened with Edgar is a shame, but you would think that they would probably go for someone with a little bit more kind of proven back record for such what I consider, I could be wrong, people, a risky sort of franchise.
maybe.
Not a bloke who makes fucking shit, fucking lovey-dovey comedies and oh no, my wife dumped me. Oh, we get together at the end of the final scene. That's not what I want from Ant-Man.
Yeah, it's not the best thing. I think in terms of what they're doing here, it's I don't see it. I think I can see what they're trying to do, but I don't think I can see this as a big kind of Marvel movie as of yet. But again, I was the guy that kind of downplayed Guardians because I didn't see Dave Bautista being cast in a Marvel movie. I didn't see it. They made big box office growth with that. They may do with Ant-Man. And strategically placing it after the Avengers is a good idea. Now, August 7th, Fox introduces us to the Fantastic Crappy Four. Yeah, and what they did, they decided, well, the other movies suck. Let's basically palette swap everyone. We'll make Johnny Storm black. We'll make basically Sue Storm adopted, and Reed Richards ugly. So yeah.
In their defence, I do like their approach with Reed Richards.
Yeah, it's again a bunch of unknowns that are playing these characters, mostly like TV and independent film actors. Great thing. Will they hit the money on the head with this one? I don't think so. I don't
think
this.
people want a Fantastic Four movie. As big as superhero movies are right now, because Fantastic Four kind of came in after the X-Men, but before Marvel got their shit together. And it was, I think the first one made money. The second one was shite. But it's just, I don't think people want a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I really don't know about this. It's, for me...
And also, it's got that little bit of contention between the battles, the playground. We touched upon it last week, but the playground wars between Marvel and
DC and Fox here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been alleged, for those who don't know, it's been alleged that the parent company of Marvel Comics, Disney, are basically strong-arming Fox by discontinuing some of their core titles. Like, they're killing off Wolverine to kind of slow down the popularity of the X movies. Where they basically are trying to disband the Fantastic Four in order to steer away from the popularity of the Fantastic Four comics. But again, they half of them are saying no, it's sales. The other half are saying no, it's because they're strong arming Fox. Either way, Fox are refusing to give up their licenses and play ball with Disney. Disney are
Which I don't blame them, because before Marvel, kicked in, became their own company and stuff like that. There's no denying that the current modern age of superhero movies is essentially thanks to what a good job Singer did with the first X-Men movie.
No, I agree with you. So, I'm not going to talk too much about Fantastic Four. I'm not a fan of this movie. Not a fan whatsoever. I don't see this boding well. I think it's going to probably be the least grossing superhero movie of 2015. I'll pick it here.
I will back you up on that statement, sir.
Dave seconds that with me. Michael Douglas analyzes CZJ. I have no idea who that is. I'm sensing a pattern here. Yeah, so going on from that, we then get the movie. We're going into 2016 now. February 12th, 2016, we get a Deadpool movie.
Yes, thank you.
It hasn't been announced whether or not Ryan Reynolds will be.
I thought he confirmed. I read a.
He hasn't confirmed as of yet. Now the thing is, there was a trailer leak. I believe was it from Comic-Con? It was from not New York Comic-Con. It was from San Diego Comic-Con, I believe. Which blew,
the CG trailer.
Yeah, the Deadpool trailer. From Blue Rise Studios, I think it's called, or Blue Harvest Studios, one or the other. Now they did a bit of test footage with Ryan Reynolds reprising his role as Deadpool. Freaking funny as hell. The wit, the character, the analyzation, everything that goes well with Deadpool, that kind of fits.
When Ryan Reynolds, right, you either love him or you hate him, but there's no denying. If you're going to cast someone as Deadpool, ignore the fucking stupid Wolverine movie, because that wasn't Deadpool. That was some bloke with his mouth stitched shut. Which is, whoever wrote that? Seriously, do you know Deadpool?
Oh yeah, no.
If you had to pick someone off the top of your head who you could say quick, witty, banter, not just in movies but when he's interviewed, who would you pick? I think quite a lot of fandom out there, when they said Ryan Reynolds is going to be Deadpool, confirmed or not confirmed, just went yes. Stick a fork in me, I'm done.
Yeah, and the thing is, Fox wasn't originally going to release a movie with Deadpool in it. They were going to try and throw him on, in terms of bringing someone else in, or throwing him into an X-Force movie. But then...
Which is his origins, in its defence, people. Let's not forget.
Now,
he's a Rob Liefeld creation, isn't he? One of the few good things Rob Liefeld did, him and Cable.
Yeah, it was one of those things where Rob Liefeld was talking about this bit of footage. They debuted the footage. Everyone was kind of happy about the footage, about said footage. Then it got leaked. Once it got leaked, Fox did the opposite of what Marvel did with the Age of Ultron footage and tried to get it taken down.
Yeah, whereas Marvel was shrewd with that.
Yeah, they basically left that Twitter comment like, "Damn it, Hydra," which I thought was I thought that was hilarious. So they did that. They tried to get it taken down. Then everybody else basically kept uploading more and more of this bloody footage. The Blue Harvest Studios basically just went, "Hey, here's an idea. We'll give you a HD version of it." Fox took that down too, and then eventually they caved in and they announced this movie. Now, the reason...
Does Fox not understand? Like, all right, Marvel was shrewd with this, but does Fox not understand that leaks are bad in their world? Like, if you've got something that's up your sleeve you don't want people to know about, but it's called managing a train wreck.
Dude,
and
once it's out there, it's out there.
Exactly. You can use it to your advantage, is what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
So,
and that's what Marvel
the minute you stick your heels in and go like, "Oh, we will take this down," it's like, no, now you look like the bad guys, even though you're allowed to because it's your property, but... Run with it. Make the best of a bad situation.
Marvel played shrewd with it and just went, "Here, look, we'll just throw this out there for you." And
it's probably done them a world of good. I know if you talk to anyone in the comic book fandom world of my mates and just say like, you mentioned Avengers, everyone just goes, "Oh my god, did you see the trailer?" There's nothing but praise about it. There's no negativity about it.
Anywhere I went to, we talked about the Avengers trailers. Man, it's one of those things where it was very impressive and it was very interesting to do. But with this, they were so adamant in trying to get it taken out because they wanted to do damage control, which in their mind was damage control. Instead of actually understanding there's hype around this, you can put together a great movie if you just go with it. So now we've got a Deadpool movie announced. Nothing has been confirmed in terms of who's playing Deadpool, who the director is, or
Please be right,
basically...
mate. Please be right.
Yeah,
Please
so
be
Fox is kind of sitting and playing mum on that one. So we'll segue from there. All I will say finally on that is, as long as it's not another Origins Wolverine. The thing they got wrong so badly, if you look at the fucking extras in the X-Men Origins Wolverine DVD, they talk about it. And he's like, oh, you know, Wade Wilson had cancer, and we did this before the cancer. And it's like, wait, he went into the Weapon X program because he had cancer. Because he was trying to slow the fucking thing down. And it was the whole process. This is one of the reasons why his body looked all scarred up in the first place, because it accelerated his cancer. Then the next minute they're going on about, oh, you know, we gave him all these zany powers, we shut him up because he's got a mouth on him. And
yeah, but that's the whole fucking point. That's what annoys me. But whoever wrote that, I'd like to find them and kick them solidly in the balls, which is that's
Skip
the
Woods
point
was one of the men
him.
behind that. So I would give Skip Woods a kick in the bollocks because Skip Woods, I love you. You've done Thursday. Thursday is one of my favourite movies ever. But I will tell you, you fucked up on that one. But yeah, so we'll stay clear from that as long as they don't take that mentality again and say we'll do it this way. They, learn from your experiences, fellas.
They're probably going to go with the fan base on this one, aren't they? Which
I
is
hope
they
so.
know.
I really hope so. Fox, if you can do anything, listen to your fans. You know,
Listen to your heart.
Yeah, Bryan Singer listened to the fans and he gave us an X-Men movie worthy of the gods. Do that.
Oh, did you hear that, by the way?
I did.
That's my Star Wars lightsaber bottle opener, people.
Stop taking
Sorry.
your lightsaber out, Dave. People don't want to see your lightsaber.
I always go in public with my lightsaber hanging, mainly to the left.
You'll get arrested and prosecuted for having a lightsaber out like that.
That's all right. I'll just look at them and say this is not the lightsaber you're looking for.
But I'm sure. Now, we're moving on from that. DC have a movie out on March 25th. They rescheduled this from May the 6th because they didn't want it competing with Captain America 3. Now...
Running scared much?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of... They were playing gay chicken and DC kind of decided to walk away before Marvel decided to ram raid them up the arsehole. So Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice is going to be March 25th, 2016. I'm could say if I'm underwhelmed with this movie is basically an understatement. Reason why I don't like this movie, and I'll explain my reasons behind it. It looks like it's going to be a clusterfuck. Ben Affleck said it himself. It's either going to be one of the greatest comic book movies that you've ever seen, or it's going to be a fucking tragedy because they've done too much with it. Introducing Wonder Woman, Cyborg, introducing Green Arrow, introducing... I believe they may be introducing The Flash. They're going to be introducing loads of other characters.
It's fucking Gotham, but in movie form, basically.
Pretty much. It's like, oh, look, we've got this guy. Oh, look, we've got this guy.
We're playing catch-up with Marvel, so we want to have our equivalent of the Avengers movie. No, as I mentioned it last week, take your time, build it, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day.
If you guys have seen, I did a vlog on this. As soon as Superman came out, as soon as Man of Steel came out, I basically did a review of Man of Steel, and then I talked about Batman vs Superman happening. I said that's the direction they need to go.
It was actually going to happen, and Affleck was kind of confirmed then. But I remember it was actually going to happen before.
Yeah, it was
Superman
one of the ideas
returns.
pitched before they decided to just throw it all away and reboot the whole fucking thing with Nolan's movies, because Nolan's movies were supposed to spin off into another set of movies, but Nolan decided to back out, as did Bale, and I understand that. Now, Batman vs Superman, the fact they've confirmed Ben Affleck as Batman, I have no issue with that. I think that's fine. The issue...
He's got. You know what? I people like to bag on him, and I have, but in a superhero movie, and he is a good actor. Controversial. I said that. I can. The idea has kind of got a little bit more comfortable with me. I can see him as a Batman, actually.
I can too. And if you've seen him in Gone Girl, he's terrific in that movie. Now, but yeah, this movie, they're doing too much. They're doing exactly what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 did, and it's gonna end up being really bad for them. I don't see this as a positive. I see this as more of a negative. They need to look at this and say, right, maybe we are doing too much. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I can see it, but in the end, I would have just gone with the man who played Walter White in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
You know, the man himself. I'm trying to figure out what his name is. Sorry guys, this is very, very early in the freaking morning for me, so I'm trying to like get my brain in gear. We were just talking about him as well when you did Godzilla.
Yeah. Fucking Malcolm in the Middle's dad.
It will come to me. It will come to me. But yeah, he should have been Lex. I think he would have played a great Lex. Instead, they decided against it. There's loads of fan trailers going on about it. See the one with him cut into it. It's so good in a sense. You know, it is so good in terms of like, you know, what they're trying to basically produce. Now, they're diluting the story with too many characters. I think if it was just mainly Batman versus Superman, I could see it.
That's it, though, isn't it? You
yeah,
know, basically the whole premise comes from Dark Knight Returns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where the aged Batman beats Superman. And it's like, if it was these two people, you know, different forms of justice, but essentially on the same page. But
Bryan Cranston should have been Lex Luthor. There you go.
It sounds like it feels like they're turning it into an episode of Smallville.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can see where they're going with it or what direction they're heading, but they are oversaturating it with too many characters, and that's where, you know, it ends up basically diluting the product a little bit. They're gonna try and spin it off into other movies, but I think if you kept it as Batman vs Superman and then spun it off later on, you could get these characters to meet in a Justice League movie. They've done really good, and I will take my hat off to DC when it comes to their TV shows like Flash, Arrow, Gotham. I don't even want to talk about that.
I love don't get me wrong, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I really do, but it's the other side of the coin. I would say that DC is ahead of Marvel when it comes to TV.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Yeah, it's very, and I think though Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we'll talk about that a little bit, I think that TV show has a lot of balls. I mean, those fucking cojones are huge on that show, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So yeah, we've got that. I have no faith in it. You know, apparently Jesse Eisenberg is going to be in the Suicide Squad movie as well, which again poses another problem, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. Captain America: Civil War is the next one on our list.
Woody already.
Now,
sorry, you know I love Captain America, but the reason I love Captain America, as cheesy as the first one was, it's still brilliant, and the second one is probably my favourite superhero movie right now, is what I like to call fucking decent appreciation of the source material and solid writing.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here. It's got some good writing to it. You know, it's one of those things where I think it has potential to be the breakout movie of that year. I think Deadpool is going to be great. I think it's going to be an amazing movie for Fox. I think it will make bank because every fan, if they get Ryan Reynolds for this movie as well, every fan is going to watch this. I think Captain America has the potential to blow all the other movies out of the water. It'd be Marvel's next billion-dollar movie.
Banking. How much money did Winter Soldier make? I mean, I know it's a success, but just curious.
I think it was something like on the grounds of like 700 million. I think. I'll check that one out actually. Shall we check this one? Let's go to our friend Wikipedia and find out.
By the way, people, if you haven't seen that movie, first of all, I would recommend you watch the original movie. The original movie's got heart. The second movie is
the
so
original movie's
dark,
kind of one of those where it's just like it seems like a war drama. You know. But it's a good movie. It made 714.1 million in the box office.
What did it cost?
170 million.
Nice.
So yeah,
well done, Marvel. My hat's off to you.
It's an extremely.
That's why you make movies and I don't.
But again, it's made the same line as Guardians, which I believe is on the verge of breaking into $1 billion at the moment. But I think Captain America: Civil War is going to make billions. In my opinion, I think it's going to be the next $1 billion movie, and I've got a funny feeling on the back of this movie they'll re-sign Chris Evans. That's my feeling.
I heard he was floundering because he doesn't want to be typecast.
He's kind of going left to right about it. He hasn't decided whether or not he wants to stay or not. Which
I can understand why, because it's more so in the States, obviously. But you're Captain America. You're not quite Man of Steel. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk you down there, Cap. But it's, you know, if you associate your name with something like that, it's going down in history.
He's got to retire from acting altogether, apparently.
It's not going to do a fucking.
Well, he feels that it's going to get to the point where that role will define him too much. Which I understand.
Well, then why don't he do what Daniel Craig does? Daniel Craig, because I think it's safe to say that Bond is slightly more what people would call career-ending in the sense that you'll always be stipulated to that role.
Daniel Craig is done after Bond. I don't think he'll probably do other movies.
He's mixed it up though. He's doing roles in the between these movies that the other Bonds, like Pierce Brosnan did fucking Mamma Mia, and he was a fat Bond. I didn't like him, and he was hairy. But yeah, I don't know. I think Daniel Craig's career is going fine. He's mixing up roles, you know.
Yeah, but it's not one of those things where you can sit him and go, "Wow, he's doing something else." It's just like,
you know, he's going forever. His problem is he's forever going to be typecast as the bloke who came out of the fucking sea, Casino Royale, you know, with the fucking banana stuff down the front of his shorts.
Yeah. But yeah, Captain America: Civil War. Let's go back on that one. You can see it. You can see the way this movie's going to progress. It's based on the Civil War storyline. So we're going to have Stark versus Cap in this. You know, these two are going to go at it head to head. Cap's going to have his splinter group of Avengers. Stark is going to have his group of loyalists. This movie needs one thing, and it will send it over the fucking top. It will make Sony bank as well, based on this movie.
Spider-Man.
Yes. That's what this movie needs. Ladies and gents, if you are freaking not hoping for Spider-Man to be in this movie, then you are fucking mad. Seriously. This needs Spidey, because he was the decision maker in this movie, in the comic books especially. Tony took him in. Tony made him into like
the Iron Spider.
Yeah, they made him the Iron Spider, and which was basically a prototype that Tony was using to create an army. He wanted to create an army of these prototypes. Think about it that way. They need this. He was the guy that turned the tide, eventually splintering off into kind of like the splinter sect of individuals that were fighting against this. And then
it's got one of my favourite sequences in a comic ever, which is because obviously, sorry people, spoilers, Captain America died in it but didn't die, if that makes sense. Yeah, you know what they do, like kind of like almost DC repeated it with Batman, didn't they, with what they did to him. But there's a brilliant thing where Spider-Man says a quote towards the end of it, and it's something like, if you want to read all of it, it's ridiculously expensive because it was in the entire, even by their crossover summer standards, it was ridiculous.
It was really long.
Yeah. But there's that brilliant sequence where Spider-Man says at the end, doesn't he, to someone, which is, don't you get it? You know, Captain America. And he's talking about the Punisher, because Punisher actually replaced Captain America for a bit, didn't he?
Well, Punisher dies afterwards, but we'll talk about that in a little while.
Yeah. But Spider-Man says something which is brilliant. I've never forgotten this, and I like this quote, which is, don't you get it? Basically, they're fighting the same war. They just have different approaches to it. And I've always thought that was a brilliant, you know, visualization of, you know, Captain America and Punisher. They're the same bloke, just on different sides of the coin.
Now, moving on from that, oh, by the way, I never knew that Amazing Spider-Man 2 grossed 708 million worldwide. I'm just trying to look at what
I thought it was. What did the first one gross? Because I know it's kind of considered by the studio to be disappointing.
I believe it's more not due to international receipts. I believe it's more due to the fact that United States receipts were poor. At a budget of 200 million, so this actually cost a lot more than Captain America did, which doesn't show. It just looks terrible.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you wouldn't know it, because don't get me wrong, I'm one of the few people who really, really enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man 2. I accept its flaws and its faults. That might be why I, you know, really enjoyed it, because I got over that. But at the same time, yeah, like you said, I can't see where that extra money went.
Yeah, it was 57 million short of the first movie. 57 million short of the first movie, which grossed 757 million.
Do you remember? Just because I remember it was obviously after 9/11 they took it down. Do you remember the original teaser trailer for the original Tobey Maguire
Yeah, where he's on the
Spider-Man?
Twin Towers.
Yeah, and he catches the helicopter in a web between them.
Yeah, and they took it down because I felt it would be tasteless. But yeah, so I think Spider-Man should be part of the Civil War movie. I'm hoping it turns out really well. I can't wait to see this movie. I think in terms of Cap movies, this one's going to be the breakout. Now, speaking on Fox's end, the breakout movie on their end, X-Men Apocalypse.
Ooh.
Now, David, what do you think of that, my friend?
I've got tingles in my winky right now because
you think how hot this movie, the X-Men Days of Future Past was. This has the kind of the
that's tied with Captain America. They're on the same level for me.
Yeah, I think it could gross. It could gross a big, a big event here. Now, let's have a look at Days of Future Past. I want to see how much that grossed. Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, we've talked about this before, but Days of Future Past is how you deliver a very, very dark, dark content-based movie with one simple attribute, which is remove blood.
On a 200 million budget, it basically made 746 million.
They're all around about the same mark, though. That's interesting, though, don't you think? They're all around about the 700 million mark.
Now, think about this for a second, peeps. X-Men Apocalypse, again, I can see it continuing the elevation of these characters and bringing a lot more substance.
Singer's on board, right?
Yeah, and apparently as well, they'll be featuring younger versions of the original X-Team in this, is where you'll see basically Charles Xavier start working on building the team and keeping that promise to Logan. So James McAvoy, you got Michael Fassbender in it. Apparently Hugh Jackman, he hasn't been confirmed yet, but apparently it's alleged that he will be in this movie.
Well, his Wolverine contract, though, is another 2 movies, so... Right. So whether that counts to X-Men movies, but...
It may be this one and Wolverine 3, which we'll talk about in a bit. Now, not much has been mentioned about this movie. Again, 2016 release, May 27th. So again, just a little bit shy from Captain America Civil War. I've got, at the moment, by looking at these, it looks like there's oversaturation here.
It's gonna be what tipped the zombie. Do you remember when Dawn of the Dead remake came out and everyone was doing zombies? There is that point where too much may burn your market. They could be amazing movies. They will be amazing movies, but too much puts off the crowd.
Yeah, and the dates are so close as well. Like in that May 6th Captain America, then May 27th is X-Men Apocalypse. I would be having my brain fried by this time at watching all these movies. I'm going to try. I'm going to give it an honest go, but so far it looks at there's an oversaturation here. Now, there's a movie I know I'm not going to watch. I have no intention of watching it. I don't care for it. August 5th, by Warner Brothers, Suicide Squad.
Oh, no.
It's basically a motley crew of people. They're going to have Harley Quinn in it. There's been rumours who they're casting as Harley Quinn. Yeah, basically, they're going with a whole model / singer / actor / prostitute person.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I think that in terms of Suicide Squad, it's going to be a B movie at best. I don't see it as going to be a standout movie for DC. I know they're trying to do what Marvel's doing by getting some B-list characters, shoving them in a movie, and seeing what sticks. This ain't going to work for me. Jesse Eisenberg has been confirmed to be the villain in that movie as well as Lex Luthor. Not much.
Do you know who would have made a good Harley Quinn, by the way? Obviously, sadly, she's passed away. But
Tara Strong, of course, who's fucking Harley Quinn anyway.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying I could actually have seen Brittany Murphy as a controversial, I know, but people think of 8 Mile and stuff.
I just really hope they don't slutter up a bit. I think they probably will do to give her sex appeal, but it's, to me,
no, shouldn't. Yeah, they. I know, because it's
the original Harley figure was sexy. The original kind of,
You can look, but you can't have.
Yeah,
no
now
crass
they've just
intentions.
Made her really slutty, and it's gotten to the point where it's just like there's only so much you can do until it becomes off-putting. Now, going on from that, we have Doctor Strange, November 4th, 2016. This is a bit of a bigger gap. So it's August, September, October. So 2 months we've got of nothing. This is your time to take a break from these superhero movies.
To digest, if you will.
And, just watch something else. Because for me, so far, my brain would basically be on total overload. I probably would end up just masturbating myself into death. We have Doctor Strange.
And if you've seen his guns, that's quite possibly on the cards.
Tell me about it. We've got Doctor Strange November 4th. Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be starring. No director has been found as of yet for this movie, but it's going to be a standout.
I think,
movie.
though, with that, which is he's such hot property, and rightly so, with Sherlock and stuff like that, and Star Trek, which is, I think it's kind of possibly we better find a director that can do this justice, because, he's even said it. I think he said on Top Gear, which is, I only enter stuff if I know it's going to be. Hey, sorry, you missed one there, Mike. I only enter stuff if it's going to be, perfect.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch has got his head screwed on in terms of this. He's not a ripe fruit. He's at the nearly at the tender age of 40, I think. So
am I. That's not a bad thing.
No, but I don't mean that. But I think he's picking and choosing his roles rather uniquely because he knows he's famous. He caught our attention with his Khan interpretation in Star Trek Into Darkness. So I can see it as a good thing. Now, we have another movie which I have no relevant interest in at all, because movies that are based on villains don't tend to work very well. And I'm not talking about like Lock, Stock and stuff like that. I mean comic book villains. Sinister Six by Sony Columbia Pictures.
That's a bad idea.
November 11th. Again, you've got like 7 days after Doctor Strange. If I'm going to pick one of the two, it's going to be Doctor Strange. Again, I don't think Sony know what they're doing here in terms of the Spider-Man brand. Just, Sony, my advice here for you guys, just do a deal with Disney, get the Spider in Civil War, fuck the Sinister Six, fuck all the other Spider-Man movies, just focus on promoting him via that movie, bringing him into the Avengers for the next Avengers event, and then doing another Spider-Man movie, a standalone Spider-Man movie afterwards. Don't go this route. It's going to be a very, very bad route for everybody involved, in my opinion. And it's going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths if you go this route. Now,
the golden rule of thumb I find with superhero movies, which everyone ignores, but it's no more than 2 villains.
Yeah,
no more than 2 villains. But personally, I'm happy that if you write, do a well-written story, then I personally think it should just be one, villain. But like the minute you start banging in more people, then screen time gets divided. You can't develop the characters. Then you get a watered down like I'm a cliche,
That's
I'm Matt
exactly
Damon.
it. That's exactly it. It's not going to work in terms of what they're going to do. And if they don't have Spider-Man in the movie, because apparently they're deciding whether or not to have Spidey in the movie, it's not going to work.
That would be even worse. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, they should be making this movie, but if you're going to actually do a flat-out Sinister Six movie with no Spider-Man, but just reference him or reference the universe, it's like, seriously, people, find me who's got the idea for that, and I will slap them in the face with a wet fish and say, "Are you fucking stupid?"
2017, March the 3rd, Wolverine 3.
I'm quite surprised they're making that. I mean, I did hate the last Wolverine movie.
It was okay for what it was, but there was some
kind
elements-
of readdressing the shit that was the first one, wasn't it? It was almost a remake of the first one, but done correctly, but not perfectly. And by that I mean far from perfectly, but
yeah.
at least it got the whole he was badass in it. What I'm quite surprised with, though, is this is why I get confused. Actually, you'd be the perfect person to talk this about. Which is, sorry people, spoilers, when his claws got taken off at the end of the last movie, and obviously his adamantium was removed. Well, hasn't that technically been kind of made obsolete by the reboot of Days of Future Past? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, so this basically, he's going to have his normal claws. He's back to normal in this one.
Yeah,
So
which
the
they
other
would have.
two-
My point is, they would have known about that. So the fact that if they just cut them off, like, because that made sense, because that's the one thing they kind of established in the train wreck previous movie. But the fact that that fucking samurai bloke's got little drills that are sucking the adamantium out of him. Sorry, people, spoilers. But you don't need to know.
Well, no, he sucks his healing factor out of him.
No. But there's that bit. If you watch, he's got drills, and he's actually pulling the adamantium out of him as well at the end.
Well,
but I'm kind of like, well, what's the point of even putting that in the scene? Because you've referenced with the dream sequences at the start, and the fact that Picard's in there.
This one they consider profitable, but it was a modest profitable. It made $417 million, which was the Wolverine made in terms of its receipts. But again, think about it. This movie was like, what, 4 months before Days of Future Past happened? You know, and Days of Future Past like blew it out of the water.
You know what's funny or scary or kind of makes me feel old? But do you know Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine now for 13 years?
Mate, you know, he can play it for another 13. I wouldn't mind. Jackman, I consider one of those actors who ended up doing a lot more, you know, because he always varies his roles. In my opinion,
he exists outside of what he, because let's be honest, most people will know him for Wolverine, but at the same time, most people don't just go, you know, it's Wolverine. They go, oh, Hugh Jackman, and you know, can associate the franchises that he's done outside of, you know, Marvel, basically.
Exactly. And guys, if you want to join in, you can join in under the live chat. Just type in what you want to type in, and we will most happily answer your questions if you've got any questions for us, if you want to talk Marvel and DC movies with us. Now, next movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, May 5th. Now, you've got basically a month in between here. May 5th from March 3rd, which was Wolverine 3, which again may be a modest success, or it may bring even more financing from you know, Fox in terms of their line of movies, depending on how it links into X-Men Apocalypse. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which
there is going to be a tie, let's be honest. They're going to
Now, apparently Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to tie in a lot more to Age of Ultron. There are rumours that we're going to be seeing the Hulk in Guardians 2. Basically, it will be their mission to kind of take him home to Earth, whilst being pursued by someone we've been waiting to see in a Marvel movie for ages, Thanos.
yes.
So yeah, apparently that's where it's going to go. Now, going on from there, not much has been said. James Gunn said he's currently writing the script for that. It's been in the making since Guardians 1 finished in post-production, and apparently the roster is going to get bigger, so we're going to have more people in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but apparently this will lead on to Avengers Infinity War, which will see both Guardians and the Avengers team up.
I heard that they were doing that, but I didn't dare believe, because anyone who reads comics will know that Infinity War was a big deal in the sort of very early 90s.
Now, going on from that, we have June 23rd, Wonder Woman by Warner Brothers. Again, I'm not... The thing is, I feel that the Wonder Woman that they've... I'm two ways about this. Because of the Batman vs Superman hype, because they've kind of blown their load with Wonder Woman in that movie.
They've missed their boat. It would have worked a few years back. I don't know if people want it now.
Yeah, I don't either. But again, not much has been said. We know who's been cast as Wonder Woman. I'm trying to remember her name.
She's not even going to have the costume, though, is she?
No, it looks really like...
That's not me doing a tits and ass thing. That's not saying...
No, it looks like gladiator armour. I'm trying to... Gal Gadot. Again, she's going to be in this movie. They're going to splinter this off from Batman vs Superman. I'm not too cool about it. I just don't really see it. But, you know, it may surprise me, because again, every time I've seen a Marvel movie, and all the movies we're talking about here, we're sitting there going, oh, this may not be great, but then we may get surprised. Going on from that one, we then go to Fantastic Four 2 from Fox, which is July 14th.
They're already predicted.
This is after June 23rd. They've already predicted the first film's success, that they're going to do a second one. I feel that this is where they're going to shoot their load. I don't feel that the first movie is going to work well. I don't think number 2 is going to see the light of day. That's me. But after that, 14 days later, Marvel will release Thor Ragnarok, which is on July 28th. Not much has been said about this movie. Apparently,
I really did enjoy it. I didn't like the first Thor, but I really did enjoy the second Thor.
The Dark World, I saw that in the cinema. I enjoyed it so much. It's gonna have Chris Hemsworth, and it will have the gentleman.
He's another like Hugh Jackman. He's the perfect casting for Thor.
He is, because he not only looks like him, he seems like Thor. We're also going to get the gentleman who played Loki as well in that again.
The bloke who sells Jags on TV.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what his name is.
Oh fuck! I know.
Yeah, he was in the Avengers movie.
Can I sound like an idiot when I say this? I was actually quite surprised when he was actually took Top Gear for me to realise this. When he was on Top Gear as the star on the recently priced car, and I'm like, oh, you are English. Who knew?
Tom Hiddleston. He did say that. Tom Hiddleston did say that he wasn't going to be in the next movie, but apparently they're bringing him back. So I think he sees the money in this and sees that he can do other potential projects that he wants to do.
It's his platform, isn't it? Basically,
yeah. It's kind of one of those movies where he knows he'll make the money from it, and because Loki has gained in popularity as well, they'll see him as kind of the anti-hero in a sense. Then
plus,
we move on.
Sorry, but spoilers! At the end of the last Thor movie, the little twist at the end with what Loki did was absolutely bloody cinematic genius.
Yeah, and I hopefully they will continue that story. Then we have the Black Panther movie on November 3rd. So you get a bit of a breather from July to November. There are no comic book movies in June, in August, in September, and in October. I'm happy about that. So happy. No.
How far we've come from 1989 when you had Batman and then you had the original Flash TV series and that was it. Do you know what I mean? Now, like you said, it's the oversaturation point is kind of bordering on gluttony.
Yeah, as I said, it's kind of an oversaturation thing going on here, but it's one of those things where I can see that it's not one studio throwing all these movies out. Do you know what I mean? It's more several studios throwing out what they believe everybody wants to see. Now,
that's a good point. I get that, but like the average moviegoer who is aware of the comics but not aware of anything deeper than storylines going back in the day or whatever, isn't going to see it that way, are they? They're just going to go. They're not going to see studios. They're just going to see Spider-Man, Avengers. Yeah. They're not going to differentiate, is what I'm saying.
No, they won't. Chadwick Boseman has been announced as playing the title character of T'Challa, aka Black Panther. Kevin Feige stated that it will see the Black Panther suit in action, and he may debut in Captain America: Civil War. And that Chadwick Boseman has signed on for 5 movies with Marvel. He's got a 5-film deal, so he's basically set for life for now. After that, we get the Justice League movie on November 17th. So basically, we've got 14 days after Black Panther, Justice League happens. I have to admit, I'm going to see this movie. There's been.
I'm going to see it to. I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to see it to watch it fail because
there's no set villain. We'll see Ben Affleck. We'll see basically Superman in there as well, and all the other characters. Again,
you better not do Doomsday. They better not.
I hope they do Darkseid.
I was going to say I hope they do Darkseid, but I know what they might do, which is it's a quick buck, which is we do Doomsday, which is Doomsday fine, but there's nothing to him.
An unknown date in 2017 will be an unknown female Spider-Man lead spin-off movie by Sony Columbia. Again, I don't think this is going to work. Unknown date again for 2017. We will see Venom Carnage spin-off movie. Again, we don't know whether or not Spider-Man will be involved. Again, big mistake. And then to top 2017 off, we will have Lego Batman. Because of
I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Yeah, apparently it'll be the same voice lead from the Lego movie. I'm trying to think what the guy's name is. I will Lego the movie. One sec.
I will Lego the movie.
Lego the movie. The Lego movie. There we go. What was his name? But this wasn't Chris Farrell. Will Arnett. That was it. Will Arnett will be playing the voice of Batman again for this one, so he can actually say he's played Batman only by voice, but he's still.
What was the TV show he was in there? Ron Howard's TV show.
You mean Arrested Development?
Yes.
He's also in BoJack Horseman. Very funny Netflix TV series. You've got to check it out. Then in the 23rd of March, because they said the TV series won't not because. Warner is doing the opposite of what Marvel's doing, where they said the TV series on Netflix of Daredevil and Power Man and that lot, they will be linked into the cinematic universe. Warner was saying, no, we're keeping our TV shows and our movies separate. Big mistake. Pointing this out right now, big mistake. Flash, Warner Brothers, March 23rd, 2018. Now, this is probably going to be a retelling of Barry Allen's story, or they may go into and do Wally West. Will you watch
Wally
this?
West is my favourite Flash.
Will you be seeing this, do you think?
Yeah, I will. Simply because Flash is, of the few DC books I read, I am a big fan of Flash, because in the right hands, you wouldn't think that just being able to run that fast he's got insane power. But I agree with you, which is keeping them separate, stupid. Because then it's like, who do I associate with the Flash? Who do I, care about more? Like, I've just invested my time in a 22 episode, season of the Flash, and now all of a sudden it's someone else. It's that, yeah. And the Marvel's, well, we're going to talk about it later on, but Marvel's Shield proves that the real money is, and I don't mean like people know for profit, but that's why they do it, but for the fans at least, is tie it in. You tie it in, you've got an expansive universe, and people like that shit where, you watch TV and you get a nod and you go, oh, this relates to that bit in the Avengers, or this relates to that bit in Winter Soldier. People like that, so I will see the Flash. I went off a little bit tangent there, but DC, like you said, DC, big mistake. Like, tie your universes in together. It's a license to print money, and it's not just that, but it's more rewarding and fulfilling for the fans. We like shit when you throw little nods and references here, in there.
No, I agree, and this is where we go from here. Now, moving on from the Flash movie, we get the Avengers Infinity War 1 month afterwards. 1 month after, we get Avengers Infinity
I
War.
predict it will take more money than Flash.
I predict that too, in my opinion. So that's gonna do well. Now, again, not much is known about it, apart from the fact we're going to see Thanos in this movie. Has nothing.
Who Spider-Man once decked, by the way. Do you know that? Spider-Man once decked Thanos.
Yes. Again, Thanos is kind of the Marvel's version of Darkseid, but more intelligent. Then we go to Captain Marvel on July the 6th. Again, only a couple of months after the Avengers Infinity War. After that, we have an unknown X-Men movie by Fox on July 13th. 7 days
hang
after...
on. An unknown X-Men movie, they haven't even got a title, but they've already...
Yeah, the sequel to X-Men Apocalypse.
I love the fact that these people pencil shit in. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
If it was me and I was a betting man, I probably would do... after the whole X-Men Apocalypse movie, I would basically go for an X-Men kind of disassemble type movie where they had before, where they splintered two groups off, Cyclops taking one, Wolverine taking another. They should go with the whole fucking, when Jim Lee, started his X-Men spin-off only for 11, books before he jumped ship to Image, which I love. But yeah, they should do that. Splinter teams. Yeah.
That would be absolutely brilliant.
They could have their own kind of Civil War thing going on. So, it depends if they want to go that route. If they do, awesome. Moving on from that, because there's not really much we don't know about these movies. Aquaman, July 27th. Again,
how is that going to work? Is it just going to be lots of him, like the Man from Atlantis, Patrick Duffy, Under the Sea stuff? Or
yeah, it's going to be basically him and Atlantis doing their thing. 14 days after X-Men, the Unknown X-Men movie, we're going to see Aquaman from Warner Brothers. November 2nd, Marvel will then introduce us to Inhumans. So July, August, September, October. So it means you're going to have a couple of months before the next movie. Then
Inhumans is a bold call, mind.
Apparently Vin Diesel's confirmed himself as a cast member. We don't know who he'll be playing as of yet. So he's got to have a dual
they
role.
should do what they did with
he's having a dual role. He's going to be voicing
he should be the bloke in the Inhumans who doesn't fucking speak. Do you know what's his name? The most powerful person. Yeah, who'd never speak.
Black Bolt. He may be playing Black Bolt.
Apparently
he'll be voicing Groot and he'll be playing Black Bolt. But we got that one happening, and then after that one, in an unknown date in 2018, we will see Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Wow.
If they do this
you know what makes me laugh though? If one of these movies tanks, their whole timeline's gone tits up.
Yeah, if they basically get rid of all the other shit and partner up with Disney, get Spider-Man in the Avenger movies, and then lead it up to Amazing Spider-Man 3. I would love it. I would love everything they do with that. My advice would be to do the Venom storyline in Amazing Spider-Man 3. I mean, have it go all out. Don't do the fucking cheesy Tobey Maguire shit.
Get a fucking wrestler. Get a wrestler. Get some bloke who's built like a brick shithouse. That's the whole point of Venom, which is the stronger the stronger he gets, the more the suit exacerbates.
But the funny thing is, he's got cancer. And the suit actually stops the cancer in its tracks. Think about this. Then 2019 we have Shazam.
Yeah, but hang on. Sorry, that's the Ultimate Verse. Regular Eddie.
No. Regular Eddie had cancer.
Did they? That's a little bit after my time.
When they introduced him, he had cancer. But
he has the best flat top I've ever seen. When I look upon his flat top from Todd McFarlane's room, I just think that's 1980s fantastic.
He's Schwarzenegger. They should, at a time they could have cast Schwarzenegger as him. Not anymore. Schwarzenegger looks like a prune. Shazam, April 5th, 2019.
Shazam!
Shazam! So that's happening. May 3rd, Avengers Infinity War Part 2 will be continuing the storyline with the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Double-parter.
Going on May 3rd. Very bold, because there's no independent Marvel movies going on at this time. Only the Avengers movie. Justice League 2, June 14th. This is a month after the Avengers movie happens. Justice League will happen.
I want to talk to these people who pencil this shit in and just say, seriously, do you know what you're doing as a person with your family, your kids, your wife, your relatives, fucking 3 years' time? No? How the fuck do you know this shit?
2020, we will be seeing a Cyborg movie on April 3rd. So we've got a bit of breathing space. June 19th, 2020, we'll be seeing a Green Lantern movie.
Did they not learn?
They haven't learned.
Oh my god.
My issue with the Green Lantern movie, and I've said this, continue...
Ryan Reynolds wrong
started.
Person for the job.
No, but I would have continued with what he started. I actually did a pitch to DC and Warner Brothers about doing it so that you turn Hal Jordan into the bad guy, you get his replacement in early, you kill off the character, and then eventually when you bring Hal Jordan back...
Wasn't that 0 Hour, wasn't it, when they turned Hal Jordan? But it turned out it was a parasite or something.
Yeah, it was Parallax. It was the real Parallax. What they did is they shot their load too early. They used a major villain in the DC universe that couldn't be killed, and they killed it. It was just like, really? And also, the effects were cheesy. The characters weren't working as well. And no matter how much Ryan Reynolds tried to hold this movie together, it just didn't work. The script was just terrible. But they've got June 19th penciled in 2020. How old will I be? It's like 30,
Don't
34,
say that because I'm older.
35, 36, 37, 38. I'll be 38 years old. I'll be like near to 40 by the time they release the new Green Lantern movie. Fuck you, DC. Yeah, I know X-Force. They've got an X-Force movie coming out that has been penciled in.
I'm quite intrigued about that because X-Force was I loved when Liefeld introduced X-Force.
Yeah, Cable's little sprinter group. It's a shame that Liefeld can't draw.
Well, no, he can. Just basically from the midsection to the bottom of the chin.
Yeah,
everything
it makes
else.
Look like they're anorexic below, but up top they've got this fucking.
Can't draw ankles, and if you look at people, this is true, right? Go back to every, because he drew Captain America in Heroes Reborn, didn't he?
Oh my god, his head was like small and his body was like huge.
And I don't know, but if you look at, the thing is though, on New Mutants, he could actually draw. I think it was a question of, someone reined him in because he was a kid at the time and said, no, do this, oppressive Marvel regime or whatever. But keeping people in line is good. But then when you get surrounded by yes men and you go batshit crazy, because people, right, once he stopped drawing X-Force and then went to Image, Youngblood, the greatest comic that never existed.
Yeah, that's basically.
I dare you to
find. That's a carbon copy of X-Force.
Yeah, I dare you to find, right, a picture that Rob Liefeld has drawn where you can actually see a gun stock coming out the bottom of the person's hand. In fact, find a fucking trigger. Find a fucking trigger on a Rob Liefeld gun picture.
Moving on from that, though, guys, we've got Gambit from Fox, Sandman from Warner Brothers.
Intrigued by Gambit, by the way.
Dark,
he's one of my characters, so if they do that
Del
right.
Toro is interested in directing. Untitled Superman movie and an Untitled Batman movie. So this is everything what we've got. But, as always, guys, information is subject to change. This doesn't mean that these movies will be happening at these times and dates. In my opinion, I think if Warner, Sony and Fox are smart, they'll be distancing their movie. Actually, Fox, I could see them getting closer to the other Marvel movies. Same as
Do you know what, though? It's the domino effect, isn't it? Which only takes a couple of these to absolutely tank, and this whole schedule's gone to the wind.
Yeah. But they're playing. There's a very dangerous game being played here at the moment because there's so many superhero movies that's been announced that you ain't gonna have time to breathe. Unless you have a cinema pass, like over in the UK we have a Cineworld cinema pass. I'm gonna get one of those.
But if you don't, this season's gonna bankrupt you.
Yeah, it would bankrupt anyone. That you cannot go to the cinema to watch all these movies. Some people are going to pick and choose. I don't know. It's just there's so much. It looks like oversaturation is going to happen. It's bound to happen from 2014 to 2020. But that's our choices of the movies there. Dave, particular ones in terms of what do you see is happening here? Do you think this is a bit?
I think they're doing what they've done, not just superhero movies, everything they do before, which is. And it's wrong because obviously, we like I said, we have to thank Fox for what they did with the reboot of X-Men. Well, not the reboot. They basically created the modern superhero movie, and to some degree, even though it's aged badly, the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie did. But now they're just like, we got it. It works. Let's run with it. And they're just looking at the money. They're looking at the green bills and shit. Whereas they don't seem to understand that, as much as half their audience is people who don't read comic books but are familiar with the subject material, the other half are people like me and you who are anal, nerdy wankers when it comes to our timelines and stuff. And it's
we are so anal, nerdy wankers. It's ridiculous.
And it's like like you said, it's seriously, you're in danger of doing what they did with zombie movies. In the early 2000s, you're gonna break what you think is bankable. Because it's a bunch of blokes writing checks in, looking at the bank accounts at the top, as opposed to people who have some heart and soul in it. I guess that would be the directors, but I think, as much as, I'm not going to lie, my tinkle twinkled when you read that entire list out, not so much for any of the DC stuff, sorry DC, just saying, but you're basically going to, I guarantee, this is my solemn statement, and if it bites me in the ass, I'll happily be bitten in the ass. You're going to destroy superhero movies' popularity for at least a few years. Oversaturation. It's a cliche, but too many cooks spoil the broth.
It's either going to do two things, guys. It's either going to basically go to the point where these other movies are expecting to feed off Age of Ultron, so that it will reinvigorate people's interest in these movies. And it's going strong. You know, if you look at every Marvel movie, the lowest movies have grossed 700 million. You know,
but that's the thing I took most from Winter Soldier that I liked, even though because the first one was clearly set up to set up the Avengers, and obviously Fury is a big part in Winter Soldier. But Winter Soldier was a perfectly good standalone movie.
Yeah, because it was more like a Bourne movie than it was a Captain America movie.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the fact that it was right, your Cap, but at the same time, I don't need to be familiar with any of the other sort of, plot devices and, pre-established sort of history from this movie franchise, as long as I understand that essentially, like you said, Bourne movie, essentially you're Black Ops right now. And that I like that angle, which was, and he realised it, didn't he, which was essentially you're doing the state's dirty work.
That's pretty much it. And in my honest opinion, it's they have to make sure they're all on their A game here. Announcing all these movies is very, very tricky, and the reason being it's very, very tricky is because these movies are going to have to be expected to be at a certain high grade and quality. Age of Ultron, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to Deadpool. I'm looking forward to Batman vs Superman because I think that's going to tank. Captain America: Civil War.
I'm just looking forward to it because I want to see if they base it on the comic books. I want to see Batman basically beat Superman because it's like it ain't about brawn, mate. It's about intelligence.
Yeah, and Civil War. I'm looking forward to Apocalypse. I'm looking forward to everything else. To me, it's kind of like I might take a look at it. I may not. Everything moving up to the next Avengers movie. I will tell you strictly, Marvel does right in terms of their movies, but DC does it so much better on television. So
yes,
and also on the straight to DVD animated movies. So either way, DC could impress us. This could go. It could go either way. Marvel could tank. The House of Ideas could run out of ideas, and DC could do really well. It's dependent on how this works this time around. From Avengers: Age of Ultron onwards is where we're going to see how these movies turn out. In terms of set schedule, this is a very ballsy move from anyone that's working.
I really wish you wouldn't say, sorry North America, but I really wish you wouldn't say schedule like over the pond, mate. It's one of your failings.
I'm trying to Americanize myself.
It's schedule. Schedule. It's a sexy S. It's Sean Connery. Think Sean Connery when you say schedule.
10 no's and a yes still means yes. So basically going on from that, guys, we'll talk a little bit about DC TV, DC Marvel TV at the moment. Apparently there's going to be a Krypton TV series and a Supergirl TV series.
Oh, God.
Epic snore. This is the problem.
Dig up, DC. Dig up, not down.
It's just not that. You've got Constantine, you've got Flash, you've got Arrow. Concentrate on those TV series at the moment. Marvel's doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then Agent Carter, which is going to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. prequel series. Fine. No more TV shows.
Or if you want to, go back and finish the fucking Preacher series you were going to do.
Yeah, just focus on what you've got. Focus on making that really good. And then, Gotham is a problem at the moment. You need to focus on making these series the best that you can.
I had a massive argument with, I know taste is subjective, and far be it from me to be the TV police or anything, but I had a massive argument with someone at work last night. Sorry, excuse me, Windy Pops, because
Gotham?
they really like it, and I'm like, here's everything that's wrong with it, and they were like, I like that. And I went like, but you can't invest in the characters, and it was supposed to be a police show. Yeah, but it is. No, it's not. And it's like really verbal and vocalized. And it just, again, people like what you like, but
it's look at loads of Batman stuff. Look, there's loads of Batman villains, and they solved the crime
name drop, basically. They should rename Gotham to here's 42 minutes of name dropping DC characters.
Yeah, and that's literally what this show's been about. I'm still watching. I'm still trying to wait for the story to pick up a bit to allow us to, see more. But in terms of it, this is what it is. And
but I'm loving Arrow right now. I'm loving
too. Arrow's going from strength to strength. I love the
If
addition.
they do, I think they should put. They're going to do the Justice League movie. I know they want to keep their. This is where it's. Well, I agree with you, which is don't keep your franchises separate. TV and movies. But if they do Justice League, that bloke is fucking Arrow. Put him in there. He's brilliant.
Same with the Flash. You don't do that. You don't allow it to.
I saw something really funny yesterday on the way to work. By the way, there's a big Sky billboard on the main road I drive to work with the Sky One HD, and it's got the top down picture of the Flash running.
Yeah.
And there was a car crashed in front of it, and I just thought there was irony there somewhere. My passenger didn't. I went, hey, there's irony. What do you mean? Look, it's the Flash, and there's a car crash in front of it.
Yeah,
I don't get
going, well, you shouldn't have gone the speed of light, should you, mate? No. But there you go, guys. That's all we've got so far. What's your favourite Marvel DC show? Tell us. Do you think DC are going to be the winners or losers in terms of this cinematic universe war? How do you think Fox are going to fare? Do you think that Sony is really biting off more than they can chew? And
do you think they should unite? Do you think Sony and fucking Marvel should just accept that if they actually fucking work together, then they will, oversaturation or not, if they work together and they put Spider-Man in and shit like that, that will literally be everyone in the world can retire from the profits. That will be through the roof. And I'm not talking about money, but I'm talking about just money. I'm talking about the fans, will be like, oh my god, we finally got proper Civil War, and we thank you for becoming friends.
Yeah, it's something that we all need to check out then, guys. Thank you, guys. It's been the Untitled Movie Show, and now we're going to go on to plugs. So, Mr. Dave Wade, where can we find you?
You can find me at Lawn Boys Post 1975 on YouTube primarily. I am a retro video gaming channel. I've just put my latest tag response up. Well, I tagged you, Mr. Byrne, by the way. I don't know if you saw it. Ooh, I just tagged you.
I've been tagged twice in these videos. I've got to do two.
You know what? I've been tagged 5 times this week. I'm working through a backlog. That's not a bad thing. I love it, but it's just it's taking a bit of time. But I tagged you in my 5 random questions that came from Proby Man 5. And second of all, people, for a little project I'm working on, I had to buy a Nerf gun. It sounds like a bad thing, but I'm absolutely loving this Nerf gun. I got the one with the grenade launcher and the mag, and it's fully automatic in toy form. And I'm going to do my very first Nerf review.
I think you should do. And ladies and gents, if you want to look at something, we've got 18 more days to go. 24 shirts are left. I believe now it's 23. One of the people who've actually bought these t-shirts is Johnny Millennium. If you go to teespring.com/Excess Gaming Podcast, 4 shirts have sold. 4 shirts out of 25. So we've got 21 t-shirts left to be sold. I'm going to pre-order mine in the next couple of days myself. They're $15 each. If you're looking at in pounds, I'll tell you how much that would be in pounds.
£11.50.
Is it £11.50?
That's just a guess. I just want to sound smart. Sorry.
Let's have a look. $15 is, drum roll please, £9.38. So there you go, guys. If you reserve yourself a t-shirt now, $15. I don't know if there's shipping costs across the pond. I don't think there is. Once all 25 are gone, because these are limited edition t-shirts, it means that these t-shirts themselves...
I'll buy one. I'll be incredibly lazy though, so just fucking link me so I can go straight to the page and buy one.
Cool.
I don't do browsing, mate. You know me. I'm lazy.
So there you go, guys. It's got the Excess Gaming Podcast logo on it. A podcast for gamers by gamers, of course. And also you've got 18 days, 1 hour, 22 minutes and 48 seconds to buy one. All 25 must be sold in order to actually get the order through. If only 4 get sold, then none will get through. So make sure that you do that, guys. I'm going to put a link up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Unlim Radio. If you want to know from us, you can go and follow us on Twitter.
Slap one of my feed as well, by the way, mate.
Okay, we'll do. Twitter.com/Unlim Radio. You can pay by 2 choices, by the way, guys, by card or by PayPal. PayPal's usually safest transaction, so go through PayPal to get yourself a t-shirt. And for those who are asking for the I Got Gameplay t-shirts, they will be coming soon. I am not going to put any up yet. I'm going to let this thing go ride first. So buy yourself an Exodus Gaming Podcast t-shirt first. Promoting is also from my friend Megaran out there. He's got a Kickstarter going on at the moment for his documentary plus a new album. The documentary that he has done, I'll talk about it, called Megalomania. And it's basically his... he got someone to direct and follow him around on tour. It's a great little documentary. Check that out as well. And if you want to contribute, I'll give you the link. The link is, if I can find it, that is, because I've got loads of other junk on my timeline, including a guy letting his son drive his car.
I saw that. It was funny. Sorry.
Yeah, it's basically Kickstarter.com. I'm trying to think where the rest of it comes. Right, it's kickstarter.com/projects/mega-low-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-mega-m pledged of his $5,000 goal. I've basically pledged mine, pledged $20, which means I get the album plus a digital copy of the movie, which I'm happy for that. 40 people have backed it so far. He's got 23 days to go. Make it happen. Let him hit over the edge. Let him get that $5,000 total that he needs.
Show some love, people, because there's life outside of big studios.
Exactly. Independence is where it's at the moment. He's an amazing artist. I spent 3 days with him while he was on tour over here for the Other World tour. I'm currently editing videos for him as well. He's a great guy, and someone that I'm going to be doing a music video for in the near future. I'm going to be doing the 48-hour film challenge on the 7th till the 9th of November. Also going to be away this Wednesday doing a photo shoot for someone. It's going to be the first time I'm actually going to be like taking pictures. And I've got a film that I'm finishing up at the end of the month called Perspective, with a great load of actors on there as well. And this week, by the end of this week, we will be having the Kickstarter debut of Silent Hill Genesis. I'm going to promote the crap out of this, guys. We'll tell you about the incentives and bits and pieces once it's active. That's pretty much it. Check out my review of myself and Robman will be doing. That'll be happening this week as well on Destiny. I've got more reviews coming as well on top of that if you like those. Check I Got Gameplay episode 100 with myself. It had Xander Scullion, it had Jamie Styles, Anina Kaski, Johnny Millennium, Robman, with our special guest. 101 is going to be this Saturday, which will include John Gamester. There's so much going on at the moment, so there's so little time.
Don't forget Slamcast.
Yes, and also Slamcast this Friday. We've opened up a new group for Slamcast as well to talk wrestling called Wrestling Revolution. You can go to facebook.com/groups/Wrestle Revolution. And if you want to check out Slamcast, it's Fridays at 8 p.m. live on youtube.com/
fuck you, Blog Talk. Sorry.
/Unlim Radio. You can check out the archives on blogtalk.com as well. So check that out, guys. I always send the links out to the wrestling groups and bits and pieces. So there you guys go. This has been the Untitled Movie Show, and he is Dave Wade. I am Michael Burhan, and saying that this is the Untitled Movie Show.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
Oh, I want to say take it away, Jay. Sorry.
I just said it.
Well, there you go. That works.
Say it again. Go on.
Take it away, Jay.
Celebrity voices are impersonated. No celebrities were harmed in the filming of this episode.
Excuse me, sir. The show's over.
Get away, zit face.
It stinks.